Welcome to another video on my robotic arm, pneumatic hand and wrist, elbow, gearbox and pivot, controller and compressor. Last time I managed to get some things fixed, and right in the end I noticed a problem with the vertical gearbox, and that problem was that the gearbox didn't do anything. Everything worked, the vertical mechanically, motorically, anything worked except this gearbox. Whenever I took the wires, it started working. So the question is that just a coincidence or not? So I am going to test this right now to make sure that there isn't some wiring problem. Now, in the past I've had some wiring issues, and I didn't need to replace wires, or in a single instance I did. However, they are long enough, so real replacement is not necessary. So I hope that, considering the length, I don't have to adapt this. Thinking of wires, all wires are from fischertechnik except this one, which runs from the pivot motor, the wrist pivot switch to the motor. So I think I'll replace that one too and use these wires for another project. Anyway, back to the vertical gearbox. I will first test this using the diagnostics interface, and then I know if they're good anyway. The only thing is that using the switches in this gearbox demands the program, so I'll have to see if that really works out. Anyway, enough talking, let's test. And then, of course, which motor is it anyway? It is this wire. This wire is going to extension motor 1, is motor 5, slave motor 1. Let's see something. Alright, that sounds good. Looks good too. And apart from the obvious working in this case, I can show a little bit better. Focus on the gearbox. And using the diagnostics interface you can also see that the switches work. So I will show you that in a moment. So you see I have the program open in the editor, ready to run, but now the interface is selected by diagnosis interface, slave 1, and this is the motor. This is the lower sensor. And this way you can clearly see that everything works as intended, which is very nice. Actually, this is also a moment to check if everything works, but on the other hand, you have this second motor is for the arm pivot gear, and that has proven to be more than fine, which I can test. Unfortunately, I can't show on screen, but the way this is going looks pretty fine, and because of the pivot switch I do not have to change direction as I had to do with this. So I'm satisfied with this. There's another one, of course, which is, let me check, that is the wrist pivot. Which has not a warm gear but a normal gear, and that goes much faster, and because of that pivot switch I don't have to change direction here either. So this is established to work. Motor 4 is not connected, not being used, so I'm okay with this. Now the wiring has been checked. Over to the next subject, which is a little reinforcement of the arm, because I noticed that there may be a little bit improvement necessary. So let's go change that or check that. In the meantime, I close the interface so it's ready for the program. Second topic for this episode is a little reinforcement, improvement of the construction. The point is that right now this side of the arm is connected by the notches, the knobs, which are attached to this black part, but it is also held together by this. On the other hand, on this side that's not the case, and I want to have that the same. So in order to make that happen, I have to move these ones there and these ones here. In itself it's not very shocking, but better safe than sorry. So let's move them. And now first of course this one. And now to put in this one, and that should be a piece of cake. But now you see the force on this, because it is not a complete coverage. If I press this one down, I see a very little bit of a hole such as this, and I don't see it here, which indicates that the force is quite strong here. So the question is, how do I solve this? First of all, I put this one in. Alright, that was easier than I thought. But at least this does show the necessity of a part like this. It is a bit stronger now. And another question is more improvement necessary? Strengthening the whole thing. Another point is, of course, that if you look at the whole structure of the arm, here are sideways pieces and they are not here. This is only in one direction. So I wonder if I should do that. But so far there's not really much question about the integrity of the arm. So I think I'll leave this for now. Which brings me to the next thing, testing everything. See if everything indeed still works as intended. So let's run the program and see whatever happens. Right, camera on a different position to see if everything is covered. Let's start the program. So there's the compressor in the lower right side corner. Arm pivot doing its job. There goes something very wrong. I have to intervene. So unfortunately not everything goes as well. And the big question is, what goes wrong? This is very unfortunate. It is insane. I think I get it. Right. This support has got an outside of this. So I pushed it back. So now let's see whatever happens now. And if it happens again, I have to find yet another way to make it work correct. You see, it does have a tremor, but that's just natural because of the working of the motor. It isn't one solid piece. So right now I think I should see and write. So let's go back to the overview. And see how everything works. And then I should move the camera so I can handle the fingers as well. Yes, very nice. Very nice as well. The arm pivot is working nicely. However, I do not see the vertical movement of the arm, which is not good. So, where's the movement of the middle finger? I do not see that either. Not good. So the problem with the vertical gearbox is not solved. And the middle finger does not respond. And this finger does not respond. Oh, I don't like that. No. More importantly, this is not going right. So on its own it may be correct. So let's see. Yeah, alright, now it works. Now this works as well. And finger number 4 works as well. Alright. So apparently that needs some time. But I'm not happy. Oh, there, now it works. Alright. I saw the vertical gearbox move. So let's take a closer look. Does it work or not? So, taking a close observation of the vertical movement of the arm. This part. Why doesn't the gearbox work? So, I'm going to move the fingers, touching the 4th finger now. And the big question now is, why don't they respond? I know it's all sensors. I do know that they all wait for each other. And that is not the best situation. I have to agree with that. So somehow the algorithm needs some change, that the gearbox always works. But it has sensors. So should I replace that with bipolar switch, just like the arm pivot is a bipolar switch, and touching one way is it automatically goes the other way. It could be, because apparently this is not exactly the way it should be. It's not moving, and the diagnostics has shown there's nothing wrong, so it must be the algorithm, no doubt about it. So let me test once again the combination of one of the fingers and then the vertical movement. And the point is, of course, that the sensors that are located on the hand are in the same algorithm as the sensors with the lower gearbox. And they all wait for each other. So that's a problem. Let me think how to deal with that. Okay, so the program is still running, and let me interrupt it now. As you can see, everything is saying on a little bit. Okay, here it says continuously rechts, which means right. And then here it says digital 9. Well, let's take a look at the code. And where does it say everything is right, which is with digital 9 and 10, and those sensors, let me look at where they go. Right, the lower sensor of the vertical gearbox is ending up at I1 of the slave of the extension, which means that is I9, so digital 9. Digital 9 and 10 are of the vertical gearbox. So it is being pressed. So this is entirely correct for what it says here, but why does it keep hanging? That is the problem. It did go, but then again, why does it stop? It doesn't make any sense at all. When does it say T digital? Well, bad speed value for motor doesn't make any sense either. But I am looking for digital 1, 2, 3 and 4, which are the fingers, and they are not being registered. They are not detected. So this is not very nice. Alright, let me start again and see what happens. Again, bad speed value for motor, but I don't care about that right now. So what should I do first? Well, let me first touch one of the fingers. In this case, let me touch the thumb, because the vertical gearbox isn't doing anything right now. Alright, the thumb responds immediately, but you can see that. Index finger, immediate result. Little finger, immediate result. Alright, middle finger, immediate result. Yeah. Now I need finger 3. Yes. So they work very well. But why doesn't the motor respond? Alright. Let me fiddle with wire. I find this odd. Alright. Time for some more diagnosis then. Yes. Then it is. Yeah, that was still motor 1. So, but on the slave. Yeah. But what did I see? None of the inputs were pressed when I started. Now it is pressed, and now it is pressed, but they were both blank. So what happens when none of them is pressed? Else if not digital 9 and not digital 10, go right, and right means in the direction of digital 10, and sleep 1. Yeah, that's okay, because it is a while loop, while true. This is a while has interface. Yeah, well, same as while true in this case. So it should be working. Alright, more testing. Close. So the bottom line of the algorithm and the tests are that if the fingers are not being touched, the vertical gearbox should just go up and down. And I did not see that happen. So let's run it again. Yeah, well, now it does. Oops, let me. Well, now you clearly see it happen. No doubt about it. So why didn't it happen before? I have no idea. So, compressor is working nicely. The elbow has been reinforced, at least the arm structure around the elbow. Everything being tested thoroughly, and I think that's it. What's more to say? Perhaps another extension or whatever. For now, oh yeah, like I said earlier, I might replace those sensors of the lower gear by a pivot switch. Have it done automatically. And now you see that the arm again has stopped moving. So perhaps that is the solution, or a solution. For now, thank you for watching. If you like this video and my other videos, please subscribe to my channel. Also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. You can see everything on my website. And if you like what you see, please make a small donation to keep my blog and website going. Also see my website for other projects I do. And I think this is going to be continued with a change in the vertical gearbox to make sure that the arm keeps going up and down, which it should. So, for now, bye bye.